because
Yes.
it's what everyone's here for.
Absolutely. Hey, welcome everybody. We're live.
Oh, hi.
Better late than never. Um, I'm having internet issues, I think, so we'll see how this goes. But it seems to be okay right now. Knock on wood. But yeah, welcome to the Unready room. It wouldn't be the Unready room without unexpected internet issues or expected internet issues at this point. I'm Dan Gunther. Of course, with me is Brandi Jackola, and we're two of one. I should have had a better intro, but again, we're the Unready room, so that's how it goes around here.
We're not known for our intros, Dan. Come on.
I tried a thing and I failed. The lesson here: never try.
I kind of have felt like that this whole week. It's like, why do I try? Why? Just
Oh,
why? Sometimes it's okay. It's okay. It's had its ups as well as
that's
many
good.
downs, but there have been some ups.
That's good. Well, I certainly hope that this is an up because this is always a highlight of my
Always.
week. Getting to talk about Star
Same.
Trek with you. Excellent.
Same.
Excellent.
Especially when everyone else is freaking in Chicago having the time of their lives.
Right? Absolutely. I hear you. Now, okay. One little bit of news that I got this week, of course, is that next year's Read Pop Mission official Star Trek convention is in May in Seattle. And that kind of makes me really happy because I might actually go. I love Seattle, and it's a lot easier to get there from here than to Chicago. So maybe.
Yeah, I still can't go because it's the busiest time of year at my job.
That sucks. I'm sorry. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah. That's too bad. But yeah, everybody's having so much fun in Chicago this weekend, and it looks amazing. I love the stories that are coming out of it and the pictures and stuff. But we do also have a Star Trek episode to talk about, so that's okay. That's okay. We're going to talk about Star Trek Picard. So, yay. All right. Well, yeah, so lots to talk about in this episode. Two of one, like I said. Interestingly enough, the official Star Trek website, I went and checked again today just to see if it's still there. They had preview pictures from the upcoming Picard episode 2-for-1. And I'm like, no, they haven't fixed it yet. So, hmm.
That is the best laugh I've had all week.
It was quite amusing when I saw that, and which was funny because I had done the same in our podcasting notes, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. So I looked it up on the like Crave app that I watch. I was like, okay, 2-of-1. That makes more sense. Okay. I changed it all. Then I went to the official website to grab some photos, and yeah, 2-for-1 is what it said. And I'm like, yeah, it's bad when the official guys get that wrong.
Wow.
Yeah. Donnie, that's a great question. Special Unready room in honor of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, the 4K Director's Edition. I would love to. I don't have Paramount Plus. I haven't seen it yet. I'm so eager to see it. It's probably going to be on Blu-ray that I see it, which I think they're saying September for that. So,
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah, no plans at the moment just because I'm unfortunately.
Live Trek going on, you guys. That comes first.
Yeah, that's true. I'd love to do a
I
special one, but
Same.
I
I would too. I actually saw the director's version in the 80s. It was, I can't remember exactly how it happened. It was, I think it was like a special event they put on TV or something like that. I can't remember precisely because I was a kid. teenager, and but I remember seeing that special edition, and so it was really nice to revisit that. And and it's, I think it streamlines the story a little bit better, and the visuals just, oh my, wow, wow. Okay, just wow. It
Yeah.
looks so good in 4K. It just, mm. There's few little things like when the camera's so far away that you can, like, barely discern facial, features on people. It gets a little wonky sometimes there, but for the most
Hmm.
part, I mean, for 99% of this movie, you're just blown away. You can't believe it looks as good as it does. So,
Yeah. I can't wait. The director's edition when it first came out, I think in like 2001 on DVD. That was still
yep.
like my definitive edition of the motion picture for the longest time. So I
Mhm.
can't wait to see it, in higher resolution and with even more updates to it, because it's not just like an upscaling of what they did back then. It's, they've gone in and worked on it more and done more with it. And I'm really excited to see it. I might get a free trial of Paramount Plus to like watch it, and then, because it is apparently on Paramount Plus here in Canada as well. I
Nice.
get I get the current Star Trek from other places, so I have no reason to subscribe to it yet. I'm sure all of the Star Trek will be there eventually in Canada, and then I'll subscribe to it happily, because it'll be like all the Star Treks there. But until
Yes.
then, you can't.
I think my favorite thing that they fixed for this go around was the red alert sound, because
Mm.
that is so loud and so annoying that
Oh,
going
yeah,
on the entire time they're in the wormhole, and then the
yeah.
entire time that the V'ger probe first shows up, and just like, oh, it was like maddening. That's gone. It's a different
That
sound now. It's much
Yeah,
better.
that was one of my favorite updates for the 2001 version as well, that they got rid of that.
Yeah.
That was, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on from that to how the red alert sounds going through my head. Oh, okay. Let's move on to Two of One, which the title of the episode is Two of One, despite what the Star Trek website will tell you. Which of course is a play on Borg designations, right? So yeah, Two of One, referring, of course, to the Gerardi and Borg Queen situation that we have going on here. Um, let's get one thing out of the way first, because I think I know, Brandi, your feelings on this. And this time around, I actually agree with you more than I did the first time that they did this, which is the let's show a snippet of something later in the episode and then do like the flashback earlier. I didn't mind it in the first episode of the season because they did something interesting with it. It was from different perspectives. You see something, from the perspective of the security team going up to the bridge. And that one, I was like, okay, I get this. It kind of makes sense. It's kind of interesting. This one felt like it was just, I couldn't discern a reason for it this time around, other than like, keep watching, something bad's going to happen to Picard, and now I'm waiting for that to happen all episode. And yeah, that was my minor annoyance for this episode.
Oh, it was way more than a minor annoyance for me. You've already done it once this season. You don't get to do it again, much less multiple times in one episode.
I'm just
Stop
gonna mute now.
it! Sorry.
Whew.
I'm done. I'm
All
done. I'm
right.
done. Sorry,
like I said,
everybody.
like I
Sorry.
said, I wanted to get that out of the way at the beginning. Because yeah, that was I bumped on that. I was like, oh, darn it. But that's okay. Um, yeah. All right. Okay, so we've got a lot to talk about with this episode, and I want to talk about the namesake for the episode first, I think, which is Gerardi and the Borg Queen. What's going on with them? There's some interesting things in this. At the beginning of this episode, I was really thinking like, okay, they're doing something different with this in that I feel like Gerardi's got control of this situation. That like what she did was actually really smart. That maybe she even kind of manipulated the Borg Queen into doing this so that she's a stowaway along with Agnes, and then hey, we've still got our way back to the future. And it felt like she had control of the Borg Queen. It was, wearing on her, but for the most part under control. And unfortunately, that gets flipped by the end of the episode. And now we've got Agnes being taken over shenanigans. That said, Allison Pill and Annie Wershing together on screen at any moment is such a joy to watch. I love these two together. Um, Despite my feelings for that part of the storyline, and again, I'm hoping it resolves in a way that I'm satisfied with. I'm worried about that. Even putting all of that aside, just watching these two actors on screen together is like mesmerizing.
Yeah, they are a good pairing. I hate this story, though. I hate it
Mm-hmm.
because it's once again Agnes being manipulated.
Yeah.
If she thought for a second that she could actually control the Borg Queen, are we really going to believe that she thought she could control the Borg Queen?
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone with, oh, I don't know, a brain would know that that isn't possible. It's just not. She's a
Mm-hmm.
different life form. She is extremely powerful. And she is a master of manipulation. Why on earth would they ask me to believe that Agnes thought that she could control the situation?
Yeah. And of course it does turn on her, and Patrick has a good point. Yep. We saw it coming. We knew it was coming, but it was still chilling. Absolutely. Can I please praise Alison Pill's singing? Like, I don't even. There's some issues with that scene that we'll talk about, but
Some
just there's some
some
issues with
issues.
that scene that we'll talk about. But can I first at least just take
Please
a minute
go
to
for
like
it. Go for it.
praise her performance? Like 30 seconds into it, I'm like, I'm not even mad. I'm enjoying this. I'm just kind of over the moon with Alison Pill this season.
Yeah, well, and see, I I understand. I mean, I appreciate her talent. The scene made no sense at all
There's a
from
bunch of stuff with
the
it.
beginning. So there's okay, so Picard's trying to get to Renee, right? And the security people are cutting him off at every point. And so the Borg Queen does this nano electromagnetic pulse, which knocks out the power. And yet, like 10 seconds later, as Agnes starts singing, somebody's putting a spotlight on her. How
Yeah.
does that work? Because the Borg Queen does not have any control over anyone else. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she isn't powerful enough to do any of that. And then the band happens to know a jazz arrangement of this, at this point, 42-year-old song, and know exactly when she's going to pause and know when she's going to be done, because there are more verses to that song. But
Mm-hmm.
those verses wouldn't really work with the theme they're trying to shove into our face of, guess what? This is a secret message. No, it's not a secret. We can hear the words. It's not secret at all. And then all of a sudden, by the time she's downstairs, all the lights are back on. I'm sorry. Do security people at this event have so little training that they just lose interest when the power goes out and a stunning blonde in a red dress comes down the stairs? You can't tell me they're not still looking. You can't tell me they just abandoned their posts. Oh!
Okay, so Brandi hated the episode. Got it.
Yeah, I actually I didn't hate all of it, but I hated most of it.
I understand. And so, yeah, for me, I was like, the band are the unsung heroes of this because, like, man, are they on the ball?
That's the thing, though. I mean,
I was laughing my butt off through the whole thing because it was so
just
ridiculous.
it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It feels like something that a 12-year-old would write in her Star Trek Picard fan fiction. That's what this felt like to me, because none of it makes any sense. I mean, you could get away with this in Lower Decks. Again, I say this a lot about this season of Picard. You can get away with that in Lower Decks. This does not fit the tone of this show. What
Yeah.
are you guys doing?
Yeah, there's actually, and for me, that's not even the biggest like I have in the episode, and we'll get to that one, which I think, I don't know. This one does bug me though. The security bugged me. The band was just like a real head scratcher. I was like, all right. The security bugged me for sure. That is like, okay, now Picard's free to go talk to her, I guess. All right. That said, the one thing in this episode that just blew me away that I loved was the entire scene between Picard and Renee. Because for me, that was like a return to like Picard telling Data that you know, failure doesn't mean that you're imperfect. I'm screwing up the quote again already, but like those Picard aphorisms that are so good, and I just loved what he said to Renee. And I said this in our Positively Trek review of this, where I just want to like sample what Picard says to Renee in that part of the episode and just like have it on me so that I can play it every once in a while when I just need to hear Picard tell me, you know what, you've got this. If you're afraid, that's okay. Fear is useful. All this stuff. And I was like, oh, I loved that. That really warmed my heart.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing about fear is what courage is, what bravery is doing the thing that you're afraid to do, even though you're afraid. You do it anyway. It's not necessarily a signal of, oh, you shouldn't do this. And I agree with Picard on that one 100%. Fear is fear. And you can choose how to react to it instead of letting it control you.
Yeah.
And I think that's partly why the Borg Queen got such quick control of Agnes, is her fear of being alone. Like, she said to Agnes more than once that she's alone in every iteration of the universe. Why does Agnes believe that?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the odds of that are actually astronomically small for that to have happened. That's just not, that just doesn't ring true. And the thing is that her companions don't treat her very well either. So this alienation, no pun intended, is something that just made her that much more vulnerable. And it shouldn't have happened this way. It's like, why can't you guys just all grow up and treat her like an adult too? It's really frustrating.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. Yeah. I don't know. Anything is there anything else we want to say about Agnes and the Borg Queen?
No, that's all I have. That's all I have, really. I promise. Except
Okay.
one last thing. If she was waltzing through the streets of Los Angeles with no shoes on, she's a moron. I mean, even the Borg Queen should know. You don't walk city streets with no shoes on in 2024. You don't even do that in 2022. Do not do that. Please do not do that.
I'm assuming that's a bad idea. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
only assuming
that's
because
it.
I would never actually do it myself. So
No, I don't even walk barefoot in my own house. I just don't. I like things on my feet. My feet are sensitive, and I don't like walking barefoot. So there we are. Anyway, going on.
no. All right. Yeah, so yeah, Jean-Luc and Renee. I guess I'm kind of done with that scene, but I just wanted to call that out as really meaningful. I really liked that for sure.
I did too. I did like how she called him out on being too old to be a security guard. Which actually made me think of, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
I loved
couldn't help
his quick comeback. There's like, maybe
Well,
so,
I'm
but
the
I'm the
wisest.
wisest.
Yes, I'm the wisest of them all.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. I also did appreciate that she's like, "Do I know you? You seem familiar." And I'm like, "There's probably a relative of hers that's played by Patrick Stewart somewhere because that's how it works, right?"
Yes. Yes, that's how it works.
Yeah, relatives, ancestors look exactly like, later generations.
Oh, I have a theory about that on something else. So,
There's a lot of theories about that, and I think I know where you're going because
mm,
speaking of which, let's talk about Adam Sung and his daughter, Kore, which um, a comment you made last week. This week, I'm like, oh, when we see her. Well, okay, we're jumping around a lot, of course.
that's what we do.
It is what we do. We're unready. We just have, yeah, we have the episode in front of us and we're like, let's talk about this part of it. So Adam Sung, he's been tasked by Q to get Rene Picard to quit the mission. And at first he does this by whispering to the security guard about Picard, and we see how that turns out. um, and when that fails inexplicably, he decides to just run Renee over with his car. And there's kind of the implication that like he's had a few, right? Like he's strung out.
Yes.
He's kind of three sheets to the wind here. He's like, okay, I'm gonna run her over, and Jean-Luc, of course, sees it in time and shoves her out of the way, and he's the one that's hit. And oh, okay, that's what happened. That's why he's in critical condition. So it's interesting to me that Adam Sung is willing to go this far, and he kind of even confronts that to save this this daughter of his. And we see Kore kind of get into his computer system and Google him, I guess, and then look at his personal files and learns that she's just the latest in this long string of genetic creations, I guess, is kind of the implication here. And which could feed into what I'm assuming your theory about the Sung family is, which is something I've seen going around as well.
Yeah, I'm sure I know other people have said the same thing. So,
Yeah, for sure. So spell it out for us. What's going on with the Sungs and why do they all look alike?
they're clones.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
It works, right? It
I
works.
like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I just I'm not sure why he named all of these children after Greek goddesses. Okay, so let's actually go through the names. Okay, so there was Persephone, we know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh and then there's Persephata, which is another name for Persephone. Then there's Despoina, which is one of Persephone's sisters, and she's actually the goddess of Arcadian knowledge, and you can't even speak her true name unless you're part of that particular cult. I mean, it's really weird stuff. But here's the outlier, Artemis. Now, Artemis is not 100% God.
Mm-hmm.
Artemis is half Titan. Her mother was the Titan Leto. And of course, Hera got super pissed off when she found out that Zeus didn't keep it in his pants again. And so she
Typical
cursed
Zeus.
Leto. Yeah. Couldn't keep his hand in his pants for the humans either. But she cursed the land so that Leto would not be able to give birth to her children on any piece of land in the whole planet. Luckily, of course, Leto found this island drifting in the ocean that was not attached to the ocean floor. And so she was able to go to that island and birth Artemis and Apollo. So, I get why everything else, but then Artemis, because technically Artemis is like half sibling to Persephone. But when you think about it, Hades, who is Persephone's husband, is also her uncle, and that is weird. Um, Greek stuff is weird, y'all. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of like, okay, you're keeping it in the family, keeping it in the, you know, like everybody's a child of Demeter here. And then all of a sudden we've got Artemis for some reason. There are other daughters of Demeter that he could have chosen, but he just veered off into Artemis. It was just weird to me. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I do wonder if there's something deeper there, and it probably won't get explored, but like maybe she was some offshoot that he of something else he tried or something like that, or maybe he just got
Yeah.
really drunk and woke up the next morning. He's like, Artemis, why did I? Oh well.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where I'm like, okay, one of these things is not like the other. Anyway, it was just an odd outlier for me. And I'm sure it didn't bother anybody else, but it was one of those things where it's not like it bothers me, breaks the story or anything like that. I'm just like,
Oh yeah,
that's a weird choice. That's a weird choice.
yeah,
So
that's
I'm gonna go with
interesting.
drunk soon theory for that. So why not?
I like that. Yeah. Um, so yeah, Corey sees all of this and realizes like her genetic legacy, I guess. And at one point he made the decision that like this one isn't going to die because there's presumably a mass grave out there of what he's left behind with these experiments, and it's really chilling. There, like, this some of the snippets of what he says like are pretty chilling. And what was the one where he's like, oh, tonight I couldn't, like, oh, I can't remember what he said, but I was just like, did he just like off one of them because it wasn't working out, or like, it's just some of what he says, if you just take the bits of dialogue, and I wish I'd written those out, that whole scene just had like my insides were twisting as she was watching this, and as he was on the couch, and some of the stuff he said on the couch when he came back from
Mm.
trying to run this woman down, right? And oh, that was Brent Spiner, man.
He
um
can be scary, y'all. He can be
yeah,
scary.
and Data in the final episode of season 1, when he says the songs are an acquired taste. Yeah, you think? Holy crap. Whew. Yeah, that had me like all twisted up inside. Like, Data's the
Mm.
only good one to come out of that family. I'm just gonna say it right here.
Well,
Alton maybe okay. I don't know. Noonian, but the rest of them, especially if you count Lauren there, B4 is okay, I guess. But oh,
yeah, well, I mean, when I think about it, this is why I'm going with the whole soon is cloned thing, because that would explain why Soji and Daj look like Kore and Persephone and Artemis and Persephone. And I mean, if he wanted to get creative, he could have gone with Proserpina, which is the Roman version of Persephone.
mhm.
But he didn't. It's Artemis. I'm gonna stop harping on that. It's just weird to me. But yeah,
It, no, it's
that's how you can explain how those synths look like this woman in the year 2024.
and why
So,
even before they existed, Data painted that painting daughter, right?
mhm,
So
yep.
he had access to historical files or saw a picture somewhere or something like that. It's so cool.
It all works. It all fits together.
And Bruce actually made a really good connection that I didn't think of, is like the first thing that Corey wanted to do when she was able to was learn how to swim, and Data painted the picture of her in front of the ocean, and I'm like, ah, oh, why didn't I think of that? Bruce, you freaking genius.
I didn't think of that either. Well done, Bruce.
I know, right? I was
Yeah.
impressed. So yeah, more to come on that story, I'm assuming, when Corey, now that Corey's figured all this out. And oh man, I don't know where that's going. That seems like a weird tangent of what's going on, but it's,
It is, isn't it?
obviously Yeah. And I mean, obviously Adam's going to figure big into like the story because he's such a figure in the Confederation future, right? So I think Q has unleashed a real wild card there that like even Q probably didn't realize what he was doing there. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Well, Q isn't 100% all there right now, so
Nope. Absolutely not. And he was kind of absent in this episode other than like the previously on at the beginning and on the other end of a texting exchange. We didn't really see him this episode, which is that was an interesting choice. He's like this menace that's kind of off screen right now, which is I kind of liked that choice rather than
yeah.
him like he's using his puppets kind of thing. He's not in there
Yeah.
kind of doing things. He's
Yeah, because
just
he
off
can't
screen.
be. He can't be in there doing things because his powers are apparently intermittent at best right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, speaking of texting, I did love that where Picard's like, she seems to be looking at her mobile device quite a lot, and Talon's like, huh? Oh yeah, no, we all do that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to talk a bit about Rios because there is some interesting things with him in this. One thing that I don't know, it didn't quite ring true for me, but at the same time, I'm also appreciating where he's coming from. First of all, I love to see the guy smile. That is,
Oh my lord,
oh,
yes.
that makes me so happy. That said, based on what he's gone through with the last couple episodes, he seems like pretty happy about 21st century Earth. And I'm like, now it kind of comes around when he's like, oh, he's a little bit smitten. Okay. All right. That's where that's coming from. But and it is mixed. He doesn't have entirely good things to say about the 21st century because he talks about how dirty it is and the honking. Then he talks about like the real cigars and the food. Oh my god, the food, not replicated. It's this fresh food, right? So it's interesting. I'm kind of liking his journey here. And yeah, the fact that he's so head over heels with Teresa, I had kind of a dark thought, which was when Picard gets hit by the car. Rios is there, and he's like, "Oh no, the Admiral's been hurt. This is oh my god, I get to see Teresa again."
Yeah.
Which is like, a little opportunistic there, bud.
Yeah, well, to be fair, where else were they going to take him?
For sure.
I mean, honestly, that
Yeah.
that that was that was a given, and it wasn't one of those things where I'm like, "Oh, that's too convenient." No, that made complete and total sense. He already knew of someone that would not report them to the police,
Mm-hmm.
would not insist they take him to a hospital, wouldn't keep any records, and so, of course, that's gonna be the place you take him, and
Oh
may I
yeah.
just say that for the first time ever on television and in movies, we have seen a defibrillator used for its main purpose, which is to shock a heart back into sinus rhythm.
Yes. I kind of side note, I almost credit the ubiquity of those defibrillators in public settings now with like people getting trained on them and
Oh,
understanding
yes.
like, oh, everything we've
Mhm,
seen on the last 100 years in movies is completely wrong. And I feel
mhm.
and Hollywood still does it, but I feel like they do it less finally, that people are like, well, that's BS. That doesn't make any sense. And thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. I really appreciated that. In fact, I was shocked, you might say, that they actually
Ah,
did that.
I see what you did there.
Yes, I'm sorry. I actually no, I really was actually shocked that I'm just like, "Wait, wait, what? Someone in television? Oh my god, someone in television using a defibrillator, right? Oh my god, you guys." It was like a
Yeah.
really momentous occasion for me. I just thought it probably didn't hit that way for everybody else, but for someone who has watched for years and years and years, while it's been used incorrectly in movies and television, this was just one of those things where I'm like,
Mhm.
Thank you.
Oh, DJ Kitty Cat. I said the same thing. I actually turned to Nikki. I said, "Oh no, Rios is going to be his own great grandfather."
Ew.
Yeah, it's a Futurama thing.
Yeah. Oh, no, I
That
know
was
it's
where
a
my mind went.
Futurama thing, so because I saw that episode of Futurama more than once,
Mhm.
but it was, and then there's already been that moment in, Star Trek before, in Deep Space Nine,
Trials and
Trials
Tribulation.
and Tribulations,
Yeah.
where Bashir becomes convinced that he's going to be his own grandfather or something, so,
I can't
yeah.
wait till we get back to Deep Space Nine. I can't wait to see the look on your face when you realize that I never existed. And O'Brien just looks at him and starts laughing. I love it. I love it.
Oh, yes. Yes. So that
Um,
has happened before.
yes, absolutely. Okay, so yeah, my problem with what happens towards the end of the episode here, and this is the thing that still bugs me, and I'm just like, that needed to be explained better or shown better. It's not that they go to Teresa's clinic. That absolutely makes sense. Like, of course, stay off
Mhm.
the books, blah, blah, blah. That worked really well. And A, like, makes perfect sense story wise. B, I just love that we get her back in this episode because I really love the character. And poor Rios keeps trying, and she's just like not having any of it. That was kind of fun. My problem is I just don't understand the sequence of events because Picard gets hit by the car with lots of bystanders, including Rene Picard. How do they get him out of there and to that clinic with no one else, like, even wondering, like, what's Rene doing? Just standing there looking shocked until they're gone? Like, I don't, that bugged me because I there's no scenario in my head that works unless they show me
Yeah.
something that works. And that was my
Yeah.
biggest problem. Like, by the end of the episode, I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, what does Renee think happened to all these people? What are those bystanders that were going, what, like, did no one call 911? Is there not security cameras outside this high security venue?
Are not the security people still looking for Picard in the first place?
Thank
Oh,
you.
wait, no,
Yes.
they're not. They got distracted by a woman in a red dress coming down the stairs. Never mind. We already talked about that.
Yeah. And that just bugged me because it just felt, I don't know, like, I like where they get, but I don't know how they get there.
Mhm.
So that,
Yeah.
like, days later, I still go, but wait.
Well,
So,
and then there's me. I'm like, where did they get all these clothes? Did they
hmm,
steal them? Did they replicate them? Where did they come from?
yeah.
It's just it's so weird to me. One other thing I really don't like, and
Hmm.
we haven't even touched on this because it's not a very big part of the episode, is Rafi seeing Elnor everywhere. I don't like that.
Mm,
I don't like that. It's making her look weak, and she's already conquered her addictions. Let's let her be strong.
hmm.
Let's let her do that. That's how I feel
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, that makes sense. It didn't bug me in the episode, but thinking back on it when you say that, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me for sure.
I just
Um,
feel like Elnor should have been a part of this whole thing because how much fun would absolute
yes.
candor be in every one of these
Oh,
episodes?
shoot.
Just
There was a
unfortunately.
line. Oh, darn it. I can't remember it. And I was going to note it in this episode where somebody said something and I was like, "Oh, that is exactly what Elnor would say in this moment." And I feel like they wrote it for the fact that Elnor would say it. Like, it was intentional to be like the character almost saying, like, "Oh, this is what Elnor would say if he were here." And they said it kind of jokingly, but I know this is all really vague because I can't remember the line. I would literally have to go rewatch the episode. But shoot, I darn it. Anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, that really made me think of Elnor, and I was like, "Oh, that is what he would say there." But Anyway.
Well, he's like the least developed character of the cast, and they sideline him for this entire
Hmm.
season. It just,
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it's
want
kind of one of those.
Elnor.
Yeah, it's one of those things that when he shows up, when Raffi sees him, and I literally said this to Nikki while we were watching too. I was like, well, at least he got paid to be there.
Yeah, there is
That's
that.
something.
There is that. There is that. Um, yeah.
Nah.
Um, uh, I think it's amusing that what was, oh my gosh. Have you ever had that moment where you started a sentence and then you cannot finish it because the thing that you were going to say just completely left your brain? That's what I'm
100%.
having right now. Having that right now. So I don't know what it was. Let's just move on.
Fair enough. Absolutely. Uh so yeah, so the end of the episode, they're in Teresa's clinic there, and Picard's in a coma, or a seeming coma, and everything physiologically seems like it should be okay for him to come out of it, but he's got this emotional thing that is crippling him, which we're assuming leads back to the trauma that he was remembering from earlier. And I guess Talon's got to go into his mind. Also, she had a little servo there. I was like, oh, it's like 37 servo. Cool. Um, anyway, so she's got to go into his mind, as we've done in Star Trek many times before. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're doing this thing. I guess that's probably what next episode is all about. Um, and that's kind of where the episode is left there. So that was an odd turn where it's like, okay, I guess we're not worrying about Renee at the moment. She's safely in quarantine. She's going to go on the mission, it seems, anyway, at the moment. So
It
put a
seems.
pin in that, I guess, for now.
Yeah, well, honestly, this is episode 6, and for the last 5 episodes, I have been wondering what the hell any of this has to do with Picard's mother! Give me something! Please.
No,
Please.
I'm assuming that's what we're getting next episode. Um, I hope. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. So it seems like a left turn
Mhm.
for what's been going on, but I again, full benefit of the doubt. This season, more than any other, and I've said this, really feels like it's designed for, and let me be clear, I would never want to consume Star Trek like this. I think it would be a mistake to do this, but this feels so much more like a Netflix series that drops all at once and you binge it
Mm.
than even anything in the new era of Star Trek has been. I still appreciate watching it every week and discussing it and thinking about it and then going back to it the week after. That said, when this is all done, I'm going to take a weekend and take 2 days and watch the whole thing front to back, because I think it would really benefit from being watched like that. I could be wrong, but it really feels like that's kind of more how it was designed.
Yeah, because every time an episode ends, it's incredibly frustrating
Yes.
because you have no resolution. It's just you start to, I mean, you have to give small resolutions. You just have to keep people interested, because if you don't, they're just gonna get frustrated and walk away. So,
Yeah.
give it those little resolutions, please. Give us some breadcrumbs, because honestly, we've gotten no more information about Picard's mother than we had from the first flashback sequence we saw way back in episode 1. So,
Hmm.
it's just get on. What does this have to do with anything? Why put it in the first episode if you're gonna wait this long to do something else?
So yeah, we got flashes of it again in this episode. And there was some hints of more stuff there, and DJ Kitty Cat mentions there was a creature that didn't look human. There was a figure, and the face was, if not inhuman, then at least like badly distorted or something. Like, that was really odd to me, and it really stuck out when I watched it this time around too, and that seemed really
Well,
weird.
there's
I
no
don't know if
way
it
to
was just like a
know.
horror aspect or what.
Yeah, there's no way to know that that's a real thing because it is clear
Mhm.
that his mother had, at the very least, bipolar disorder, and the mania
Mhm.
side of that, you can see things that are not there.
Yeah.
So, mania is a crazy, crazy state of being, and I'm just saying, just because we saw something that didn't look human, that doesn't mean it was real.
Yeah. Oh, I like this comment. Picard even says something about fears manifesting monsters when he was talking to Renee. Maybe some foreshadowing there or some tie to that.
Mhm.
That's nice catch. That's
Yes.
interesting. I didn't make that
Well
connection.
done.
Very
Yes,
nice.
I remember him saying that too. Now, so yeah,
Mhm.
good one. Well done, you.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So yeah, with regards to this episode, I just did what you did. I started a sentence. It's totally gone. I think we're both very
Final thoughts
tired.
and ratings?
No, it was before that.
Was
It was
something else?
something. Oh,
Yeah.
it was just that in some previous episodes I was completely taken by surprise when the credits came up and I was like, that's it, it's over. This episode, I don't know if I'm just like learning or what, but like about 20 seconds before the credits came on, I was like, oh, that's going to be the end of the episode, isn't it? It's going to end right there, isn't it? And sure enough, the credits came up, and I was like, it was just as frustrating, but I don't know, maybe like a. This is going to sound bad, and I don't really mean it because I don't feel like this, but like a whipped dog, I knew it was coming.
Mm,
I apologize for that imagery, by the way. I don't feel like a whipped dog. I'm generally enjoying the show, but that those end credits do feel like a slap in the face sometimes.
they really do. They really do. As my husband just stated in the chat, he is very good at guessing when the end of episode what an end of episode moment is. So he'll be just
Mhm.
like waiting and waiting, and credits, and then the credits roll. It's like
Yeah.
magic.
I think if I'd have been prepared for it, I would have been better at previous episodes. But like now that I know what to expect, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be here, isn't it? That's right. Yep, there it is.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. I'm loving the different music over the credits every week, by the way.
Mm,
I do like when they do that, that it's when it's not just a regular theme. There's kind of like
mhm.
something that evokes the mood of what's going on. I do like that. So I do remember at
Agreed.
the end of these credits, I was like, I'm gonna want the soundtrack to this season, I think. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. It has some good music in it, definitely.
Mhm.
Um, it's still weird to me that they put a Pat Benatar song in there. I mean, the song is old by our standards. It's like it's like, okay, guys, we're gonna go through a bunch of songs from the 80s until now. We've got to find something that fits our theme exactly. And go. 3 months later, we've got it. Shadows of the Night by Pat Benatar. It's perfect as long as you only do the first two verses. Then you got to stop
Hmm.
the song because then it doesn't really fit anymore.
Bruce had a good question about that too. Oh, by the way,
I don't even know what my question was. I don't.
Bruce! Live from Chicago. I hope you weren't down there long because I just happened to look there and see that you were there.
No, I just popped
It's so
in.
fun to see you.
Awesome.
I miss you, Bruce.
that was totally a coincidence that I brought you up and what you were talking about with and your question was with
What was
regards to that, was that song in Agnes's mind and the Borg Queen pulled it from there, or was that song because of the myriad of people that the Borg have assimilated? Did the Borg Queen go, I know it would be perfect? I thought it was a great question. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, because you have to pick a song that was of the time period. And did Raffi, I'm not Raffi, but Gerardi know a song like that? And I mean, probably, but I kind of wondered if the Queen may have just pulled from her database of assimilated people from the 21st century.
I would
But the
love
power
to
in the voice came from the Queen, because the power of Gerardi breaking those handcuffs off means that she has a powerful voice too, because of the Queen.
Yeah, because there was no microphone either.
Right.
That was even when the band started too.
With the band right there, it would be hard to hear unless she had a real powerful voice.
So the Queen blew out Gerardi's voice box doing that, basically.
Right.
You know, I hope not, because you don't come back from that, y'all. You don't come back from that. So let her keep her lovely singing voice, all right? I mean,
So
after
Bruce-
all, the Borg
Oh, sorry.
Queen might just want to turn into a siren, you know, as in the
Mm.
old Greek. I'm on Greek mythology tonight. I'm sorry. Sorry. It's kind of a curiosity for me. So you were going to say
I
something,
like it.
Dan. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was no, that's you're sticking more on topic than I was, because I was gonna ask Bruce, how's Chicagoland?
Oh, you know, cold. Not too cold. It's above freezing, so that's good. So
It got below freezing here, so
yeah. No, it's great. You know, I mean, I don't know if anybody who's watching is here for the show right now or not. I'd be curious to know that. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great show. We saw exclusive clip from Lower Decks from next season. We saw a clip from Strange New Worlds today. So that was kind of cool.
Very
you know?
coll. Yeah.
So
I've seen several clips from Strange New Worlds.
Wow.
yeah. And we also announced a book on our book panel yesterday from John Justin Miller. So he finally the cover was supposed to arrive and it didn't, but then he got it late last night. So it's out there now.
Yeah.
I have seen the tweets.
Yes.
Very cool.
You had to stay up late to do the tweets.
And he's tweeting again today about it. So
Yes.
yeah, it's
Well,
out
funny
there.
'cause
We know.
We were doing the panel and he was tweeting. Like I saw him on like an iPad on the panel, and I was like, what's he doing on Twitter, you know? And he just had it like hovering there. And then I realized once he made the announcement about the book, he says, and now I'm going to hit send, boom. And the tweet went out. And we're like, oh, that's what you were doing.
Smart.
So he told me today he was nervous we were going to run out of time and not get to the announcement of the book. I said, I told you I had it all under control. He's like, I know. So anyway, but yeah, it's been fun, you know, just geeking out with Star Trek people like all the time, seeing uniform. Oh, here's a really weird situation. I'm walking from my hotel. I guess it was yesterday morning, walking from my hotel, and I go across the pedestrian bridge into the convention center, and I'm in this big hall area of just like empty. It's just huge area that I got to pass through to get to where the convention is in the center. And there's only me and this one guy in the distance, and he's on his phone. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, it looks funny. That guy looks like Book, like he's talking to Burnham. And then I realized it was David Ajala. I was like, oh, because he was wearing like the clothes Book would wear. Not today, he wasn't, but yesterday I was like, oh my gosh, he looks like that's Book, and he's talking to Burnham now about something, you know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, let's quickly wrap up with okay.
One thing.
Sorry, Brandi.
One thing.
Yes.
One thing. This is something I forgot, and someone brought it up in the chat. Because I watched with subtitles on, there is a point in the episode where Talon says something in Romulan. What the hell is that?
Yes. Yeah, she swears in Okay, so the Crave subtitles had the actual word, because I'd read a spoiler about that, so I had the subtitles on, which I try to do every week anyway, because I've learned from you, Brandi, you catch things with the subtitles. The Crave subtitles just had the actual word, and apparently was it the Paramount Plus ones said swears in Romulan or something like that? Okay. Because ours I caught when it was, because it was a word I didn't know, and I think it started with V. She says something, but it just showed up like as an approximate spelling of whatever this word would be. So yeah, I was like, oh, how did people know that was Romulan? Oh, it must say that on Paramount Plus, because I don't know why they don't send out like uniform subtitles for all the services. It's just up to the service to create the subtitles, I guess.
That's so weird.
That doesn't make sense to me, but
no, that does not make sense at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Actually, I had a friend who who's in Atlanta. We did improv together. He moved to California and did some acting work, but he also did the writing of the subtitles or the closed captioning for shows. And they would send him a packet with the script, and then he'd have to watch the episode. By looking at the script and the episode, he's typing everything. So there could be in the script, maybe somebody, it said swears in Romulan just in the script or something. And then maybe whatever Crave, they do their own closed captioning and they typed it in. I know for our networks, we have now there's closed captioning that it does it itself. It hears it and puts it in live, but it's not always accurate. So they probably wouldn't do that with this type of show. So yeah, I don't know why it would be different one place versus the other.
Odd.
Yeah.
I mean, if it were in another language, but still.
Right.
Yeah. I know we've run into that before. I think it was the season 2 finale of Discovery. There was, and the Crave subtitles actually got it right. And at the time, CBS All Access subtitles got it wrong. And that was when Pike says Una's name. He says, Una, blah, blah, blah. And CBS All Access had something wrong. And Crave actually said Una. And the creators were like, yeah, that was supposed to say Una. That's her name.
That isn't the only mistake that they made in the subtitles. Is when Una says, in case the ship hits the fan.
Oh, that whole debacle. Yeah.
Yeah. She said ship. Look at her lips. She said ship. And they put in the other word.
Oh boy. Well, let's get Brandi, your final thoughts and ratings for 2 of 1. And I feel like this might be a series low for you in this case. And I'm scrolling back. I tried to get everybody's ratings. I jumped to the bottom again. So while you're speaking, I'll try and find everybody's ratings and put them up on screen. And if I missed yours, just type them again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this episode didn't work for me for the most part. There were good moments. There were things that I liked, but it was disjointed. Again, stop doing the 36 minutes earlier bullcrap. Stop it. Honestly, why Soong again? I mean, I love Brent Spiner as much as the next person, but really, I'm so over it, the Soongs. And just the whole ridiculousness of the musical number. I will give it. I'm happy for everyone who likes it. I'm not saying that anyone should share my opinion. My opinion is my own. And so if it worked for you, I'm so happy for you. I really, truly am. I wish I could be happy with it, but I'm just not. But I will give it one proper use of a defibrillator.
Nice. Okay. Bruce, even though you haven't taken part in this discussion, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the episode and a rating for 2 of 1.
Well, yeah, I like the episode. I mean, it's kind of hard for me on these episodes because it just seems like it almost feels, and I know, Dan, I heard you say this before I got on, but it's like a Netflix, like it all should drop at once because they just seem like we're just seeing a part of an episode, even though it's a full episode. You know, it's like we're just coming into the middle of something and leaving in the middle. But I mean, I'm still intrigued. I'm still interested. The musical number was a little cheesy in a way. Not at first. I liked it at first, but when she got down there with the band and everything, I thought, okay, this is getting a little crazy now. But you know, it's kind of fun. It's a little silly. I love the conversation that Jean-Luc has with Renee. That was a big highlight for this. And Rios loving the 21st century. And Teresa, getting to see more of her. I like her character. So yeah, overall, by the way, and I don't know if this was mentioned earlier, because I told Dan this, when Rafi orders her club soda, I don't think she ever got it. The bartender.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm giving this
Racism.
What's that?
Racism and sexism.
Exactly. So 4 out of 5 missing club sodas that Rafi still didn't get.
Yeah.
H.
Yeah. I'm going to try and give one while I'm still finding people's ratings here as well. But I mean, I'm overall enjoying the season. I'm feeling there's like some disjointedness going on. And for me, again, just days later, the thing that I keep stumbling on in this episode is that ending. Like, how did they get from the venue to the clinic without like somebody calling an ambulance and all those witnesses there and all of that stuff?
They'll do a short trek on that.
If it was Star Wars, there'd be like a 4-issue comic miniseries that explained all of that. But
they might do it in a comic anyway. You never know.
They could, yeah. Oh man, I would actually really enjoy like a comic series of like side adventures in the 21st century with these guys. Like, I don't know, Seven and Raffi trying to figure out the how to use the buses. Like, we just saw them on the bus. Like, anyway. Yeah, like I'm generally enjoying this. I did feel like this one was a bit more of a stumble compared to the previous episodes, which I was like pretty over the moon enjoying. This one had me kind of going, and when Bruce and I, when we recorded the podcast, I think I gave it 4 out of 5. I would tip that downwards to a 3.5 out of 5, which shows that like my range of ratings is still not that great, not that huge, because it's still Star Trek and I love Star Trek, and I'm an apologist and I'm sorry, but I'm really enjoying these characters. I'm enjoying the situations. This one, there were just some leaps in logic that bugged me, that like maybe fresh off seeing the episode didn't bug me so much, but now that I've had a few days to sit with it, they keep bugging me, which doesn't usually happen. So yeah, 3.5 servos, which are actually basically sonic screwdrivers that Talon uses. So yeah. Oh, and I just saw Mossy's pop up there. So any ratings that I missed in the comments, just let me know and give me your rating. And yeah, I guess all right, let's keep the conversation going though, because this is so rare to have the three of us all together here.
All right, gotta go. Bye.
Oh, you got me.
I think you are an hour later than we are, aren't you?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So yeah, you'd be. Yeah, we're
So
8
like
o'clock right now.
after 9.
Ooh,
Yes, I'm 9 o'clock.
Bruce is gonna turn into a pumpkin.
Ooh, really? I can't wait to see that.
Kind of want to see it. Yeah, absolutely.
My wife calls my daughters pumpkin heads occasionally. And she says because when they were born, their heads were perfectly round like a pumpkin.
Right on.
They didn't have stems, Brandi.
Okay. I'm just like, but pumpkins aren't perfectly round.
I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
wouldn't
no
like.
logic in it. It's like a Picard episode. Come on.
Okay, okay. I'll just let it go. It's fine. It's fine.
I just realized how we're talking about like, oh, it's so late for Bruce, and yeah, we have folks in Europe that have tuned in. So
You're a trooper. You are a
Stefan, thank you.
trooper. Thank you.
We love having you here. And I apologize for not being able to do this at a time more conducive for your time zone, but thank you for joining us. We love having you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Bruce, what's been the highlight of the show so far? Besides obviously your book panel, which I think anybody who went would say is the highlight of the show for sure.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Well, like I said, just like the panels of seeing the casts of the different series. So we did have Strange New Worlds, we had Discovery, we had the Lower Decks panel today.
I've seen the pictures there.
Yeah, they're all dressed up too, eh? Like,
yeah.
Well, that's so cool.
Mike McMahon came out and he said, "Oh, the cast was going to be here, but I have some bad news. They're not going to be here. Instead, we brought the crew." And so they came out as their characters. I was disappointed that Noelle wasn't in all green, but she had green eyeshadow on for Teddy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Jack went all out. He went all out. Purple hair and everything.
He had the hair.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And a Tom Paris plate.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't see that. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they gave him a Tom Paris plate, which I think then they gave out to somebody as a gift or something afterwards. But
yeah,
it's it's just being around people who are fans, just talking to people. It's like I run into people I don't even know. I'm just like, you just start talking to them, and it's almost like you've known this person for quite a while, but you just met them,
Oh, I miss that. I do miss connecting with just huge group of Star Trek fans at a convention. That's so cool. Best cosplay I've seen so far, online anyway, is Jara Hodge of Women at Warp, is fully made up as a Doppler. And the makeup is incredible, and she got to show it off to Mike McMahon as well. Those pictures are online. That's really, really cool. That's the best one I've seen, but I'm sure you've seen tons there, Bruce.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, just even just I would say the most popular is just people in Starfleet uniforms, and we have such a variety now. It's crazy all the different uniforms that you see. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything big and outlandish like as many of those. Just a lot of people in Starfleet uniforms, especially. But then they do have the costumes on display for Strange New Worlds, which has been, I've walked through it twice because it's just like they're right there, and I'm like, these are uniforms and costumes that I'll be seeing for the rest of my life on screen, So
that's cool.
So.
Yeah, and Erica, that news was released today. The next year's Star Trek convention will be in Seattle in May. Is that right? I think May next year.
Yeah, DJ Elliott accidentally said March, but it was corrected to be May of 23, the last weekend of May.
Okay. Wow. I might make it to Seattle. I don't know. I love Seattle. Seattle is one of my favorite places to visit. I might make it there.
Wait, was it Seattle or Salt Lake City? They both begin with S.
It's not Salt Lake City because I would have heard about it. Nice try. The day that we get a full Star Trek convention here is the day that I will shave my head. So we're in no danger of having one here in my lifetime.
We need to talk to Reed Pop. We need to make that happen.
Yes.
Good luck.
You never know.
Yeah, I do. I do know.
Maybe they'll do a convention in Cerritos at some point. That would.
There you go.
That would be great. That would be great. Seattle's not actually too terribly far. It's just the time of year doesn't work for me because it's our busiest time at work and I just cannot take time off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but it's funny because DJ Elliott said we're going to announce the next convention, and you're going to want to hear when it is because it's going to be here sooner than you think. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm like, oh, fall, I'm thinking later this year, soon, because that would be the sooner I would think. I'm like, May, that's a year and that's more than a year away. That's not sooner than I would think. I expect every year.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe he thought March was the even that's just a month. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
Have you seen Dr. Miglimo walking around?
Apparently? I saw a picture
Oh,
of him.
I
haven't seen that yet. That's cool.
No.
Carrying the Kayshawn puppet.
Yes.
I have not seen that yet.
I never thought of Prodigy cosplay. That's cool.
Yes, I have seen that picture. Everybody was saying that was a statue. I know it's not a statue because I've seen this cosplay from different angles and different, bodily positions. It's unreal.
I haven't seen Dow, but it's on the schedule that certain parts of the day you can go visit Dow. He's apparently walking around. So I don't know if it's the cosplay you saw or the actual character moments that they have official. I don't know.
The actual character is there. That would be.
Yeah. There's a Prodigy panel tomorrow morning. So
that's cool.
I'm going to go to that. And there's a Picard panel. And then there's William Shatner. I know Brandi would want to go to that one.
William Shatner's coming here again. He's been here like 5 times.
Yeah, he's
old news.
I'm actually going to the Calgary Comic Expo in 2 weeks, and William Shatner will be there. Which I'm like, okay.
Oh, and Brandi, Ethan Peck says hello.
You didn't know. You didn't talk to him about me. Don't even try, but thank you. I love the sentiment. Never going to get to meet him. I'm going to be dead before he ever comes here.
Aw. Wow. We'll make it happen somehow. That's going to be our new mission.
It's not about that. It's about the fact that they have in their contracts a set number of appearances that they can make. And they're not ever going to bring current Trek people here. Even though our convention has been around for a decade now, they're not going to do that.
I don't even mean we're going to get Ethan Peck to Salt Lake City. We're going to get you and Ethan Peck together somehow. Yes, we're going to make it happen.
Well, now I'm thinking about it. Since he's here, if I could go talk to him and just say, there's someone dying in Salt Lake City and their wish is to see you. You need to get out there and see her because she said she'll die before she ever gets to see you.
And then I will just leave out the dying to meet you part. Just
right.
And then I'll cry all over him and make him feel slightly uncomfortable, and it'll be great. It's
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I unfortunately do have to go very shortly.
We'll wait. Go ahead and go. We'll be here when you get back.
Okay, I was going to say, if the two of you would like to continue the conversation, by all means, please do. I unfortunately do have to run, but I'm so happy that you joined us from Chicago. This is so great.
Yeah, I just
wonderful
to come by my room again, and I thought, oh, wait, they're doing the live show right now. I'll just tune in and say hi.
Awesome.
I'm so happy that you did, because I was thinking about you and I'm like, oh, Bruce is in Chicago. If he gets back to his hotel room, maybe. No, he won't stop by. And then you did.
And I'm absolutely 100% serious. That was just a total coincidence that I started talking about what you said on the podcast, and I just looked down and saw you there. I'm like, So for everybody who's in the comments, basically we have a little messenger group, and I send the link to it every week, and both Bruce and Brandi are on that. So in case Bruce is able to stop in, he has the link to be able to do so at any given moment. So that's why how he was able to surprise us, because I still send it there, even though Bruce hasn't graced us with his presence for a while, but he always gets the link.
Well, you
And
know, and I
just
wanted,
for occasions like this.
and I wanted to see you guys because you're not here. And this is a way of me bringing you here. Like, I get to talk to you at the convention, right? So it's almost like you're kind of virtually here.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm so happy to be there.
Oh, and the cheese popcorn here is really good.
And
I
the
get so
water
many
is
little
really good
meals that
here.
come with ketchup packs. It's crazy. That's the stuff I collect at these shows. Oh well, no, I did buy this shirt.
Ooh,
Oh, that is amazing. I love it.
that's gorgeous.
That's beautiful.
What
Very
just went through
cool.
my head now is like, I wonder what the Seattle one's going to look like next year. I've already mentioned to Nikki that that it's in Seattle next year, and we've already talked about, like, I've said, like, oh, I'd love to take you to Seattle. It's amazing. It's wonderful. You'd love it. And then this gets announced. I'm like, how about a Star Trek convention? And she's like, maybe. So we'll see. Hopefully, that would be really cool.
Yeah. We'll see.
Well, where can Brandi? Where can you be found online? Wow, yeah, I can talk.
Here. You can find me here doing this. No, I do other things. Just the easiest thing is to follow me on Twitter at Brandywine12. I'm not as active on social media right now because I'm just busy and work is busy, and I shouldn't even be on social media when I'm at work, but we know everyone does it. And so, yeah, just go follow me there, because then every time I post about something I'm doing, you'll see it. And there we
Excellent.
are.
Very
what about
cool.
you, Dan?
I'm still
You can find me on Twitter. I'm at Kertrats. That's KERTRATS. And of course, on the Positively Trek podcast with that guy down there, Bruce Gibson. We have a weekly Positively Trek show and a every other week book club episode where we talk about a Star Trek novel or comic or something like that. So check that out. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts. And yeah, we'd love for you to check it out. And also the Positively Trek discussion group on Facebook. We'd love for you to join there. Lots of Star Trek discussions happening all the time. And Bruce, where can people see you live tweeting the panels at Star Trek Mission Chicago? Which you're totally not doing, but I'm just calling you out.
I know. I haven't been live tweeting
raising expectations.
Everybody's live tweeting what I would tweet anyway, or I'm just like,
just retweet. You're good.
So, by the way, when you do a podcast, you just assume people are listening. It's so great. I've had so many people come up to me and say that they love listening to Positively Trek. I mean, I'm surprised how many people have stopped me to say that.
That makes me so happy.
But yeah, I'm Twitter at Admiral_Rex, so you can find me there. And then they've been handing out posters here to everyone, like the director's cut poster.
Oh, that's pretty.
And we had the Lower Decks poster.
Oh.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah, so sweet. I think this is my favorite one. The Discovery poster.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Oh, jealous of all of them.
And of course, the new
Ooh. Beautiful.
Yeah, there you go.
So cool. Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining us in the chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Bruce, for joining us. Thank you, Brandi, for being here as always. And what are we? 4 episodes left of Picard now, I guess. And then 10 episodes of Strange New Worlds. And then Lower Decks season 3 coming sometime this year. And Prodigy season 1.5 or whatever we want to call it coming later this year. We've got Star Trek out the wazoo, folks. We're going to be talking about it until we're blue in the face. So
now that you mention it, I'm surprised they didn't announce at the panel the premiere date for Lower Decks, the next season.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They just said 2022 in that little trailer that got released, or that little teaser, I guess.
Yeah.
My guess is that it'll be July.
He said that on the
Makes
panel?
sense.
No, I'm just guessing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would hope, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be July.
That'd be cool. Let's keep the Star Trek train going. Let's no breaks, just all the way through.
That's right.
And then when they added the third chew, and it became the choo 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 train. Sorry, couldn't help myself.
Oh, I love it. I love it
Could
so
not help
much.
myself.
You guys are awesome. Well, thank you again so much. This was so much fun, and we'll see you again next week. And until then, live long and prosper and all of that good stuff. And I just need my hand free to hit the button.